You watch the news, see a bill pass, and assume elected officials in Washington just wrote out the exact, strict rules you have to follow. The reality is much looser. Congress rarely has the time or technical expertise to sweat the details. They vote on broad goals and pass the buck to someone else to figure out how to actually enforce them. Take the Social Security Act of 1935. Congress promised government payments to disabled workers, but they left a massive hole in the text. They never defined what the word disabled actually meant in practice. Every time Congress leaves a blank like that, a massive administrative machine has to step in and translate vague legislative hopes into binding mechanics. That machine is the federal bureaucracy. When Congress passed the Dodd-Frank Act to reform the financial sector, the bill was 800 pages long. It took unelected agency experts drafting roughly 400 additional, highly specific rules just to make the law functional. The text Congress passes is a blueprint. The bureaucracy has to actually construct the House. The first step for these agencies is turning abstract political promises into strict, quantifiable standards. To fix that Social Security gap, bureaucrats at the Social Security Administration wrote a rule establishing a strict mathematical threshold. To receive specific benefits for being legally blind, they decided a person's corrected vision must be 2200 or lower. They created the math to ensure the payouts were calculated fairly. Federal agencies are legally forbidden from writing these standards in a dark room. Before a rule goes into effect, the agency has to publish a draft in the Federal Register, opening a mandatory 60-day window for public comment. During that time, anyone can read the proposal and submit feedback. A private citizen can log on and send an email, and massive corporations can submit hundreds of pages of legal arguments demanding changes. This makes bureaucratic rulemaking a legally required, highly structured dialogue between the state and the people it governs. While that public comment period is open to everyone, highly organized interest groups know exactly how to work the system long before a draft is ever published. Policy decisions are dominated by a closed ecosystem of influence known as the Iron Triangle. On the government side, you have a specific federal agency and the congressional committee that controls its budget. On the private side, you have client groups and lobbyists. These groups provide political support, campaign votes, and expert data to the committee members, while lobbying the agency for favorable rules. The bonds holding this triangle together are tightened by the revolving door. A retiring military general might become a lobbyist for a defense contractor, or a congressional staffer might take a job at the Pentagon. They swap roles but keep their insider access. An average citizen might get 60 days to comment on a finished proposal, but the inside players of the Iron Triangle are in the room helping shape the text from day one. Once this entire process concludes and a bureaucratic rule is finalized, it is not a suggestion. It carries the exact same legal force and the exact same financial penalties as a law passed by Congress. Over the last century, as the United States dealt with a population explosion, 2 world wars, and complex economic crises, the rulemaking apparatus had to expand massively to manage the logistics of modern life. That scale creates heavy friction. We call it red tape, the crushing density of forms, applications, and compliance reports required to enforce these rules. This data visualization shows the staggering administrative burden placed on the public. Every year, businesses and individuals spend roughly 1 billion hours filling out 2 billion federal forms. But that exact paperwork is the mechanism that ensures democratic transparency. Tracking that data forces agencies to treat citizens equally, and it enforces vital regulations that protect workers from injury and families from predatory loans. The federal bureaucracy is messy, expensive, and overwhelming, but it is the inescapable bridge required to turn the good intentions of Congress into a functional reality.